Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. We start with a rather tragic story. Gunmen assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moïse and wounded his wife in their home early Wednesday, inflicting more chaos in the Caribbean country that was already enduring gang violence, soaring inflation, and protests by opposition supporters who accused the leader of increasing authoritarianism. Claude Joseph, the interim prime minister, confirmed the killing and said the police and military were in control of security in Haiti, the poorest country in the Americas, where a history of dictatorship and political upheaval have long stymied the consolidation of democratic rule. His wife, Martine Moïse, 47, was also wounded in the attack. Her condition remains unclear at the moment. While local media reports initially claimed the First Lady had succumbed to gunshot wounds on arriving at a hospital, France Duval, a well-known journalist at Haiti's main newspaper, said she was still alive and being evacuated to an undisclosed country for treatment up to news time. Unidentified gunmen stormed the private residence of Moïse overnight at one local time in Port-au-Prince. Joseph said the gunmen spoke Spanish or English and were highly trained and armed with heavy caliber weapons, but he gave no details on how the attack unfolded, who carried it out, or why, or whether anyone was arrested. Meanwhile, the streets of Port-au-Prince were quiet Wednesday morning, but some people took the opportunity to ransack businesses in one area. Authorities closed the international airport and declared a state of siege. The country appeared to be heading for fresh volatility ahead of planned general elections later this year. Moïse, 53, had been ruling by decree for more than a year after the country failed to hold elections and the opposition demanded he step down in recent months. Joseph is likely to lead Haiti for now. Haiti became the world's first black-led republic and the first independent Caribbean state when it threw off French colonial control and slavery in the early 19th century. And still with some sad news. Dominica's first Prime Minister Patrick Roland John died on Tuesday. He was 83 years old. His cause of death was not disclosed, but John, the island's last premier, had in recent years been suffering from diabetes and had one of his legs amputated in 2016. He died at the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital, where he had been taken to on Monday night. John led Dominica to independence from the United Kingdom on November 3, 1978, and was the leader of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union and mayor of Rosal before being elected to the legislature in 1970. More than 100,000 people in Cuba were evacuated before ELSA hit on Monday, causing mudslides and flooding rains. In the days before, the storm passed over the Dominican Republic and St. Lucia, killing 3 people. After causing devastation in the Caribbean, Tropical Storm ELSA is moving north towards the Florida Keys. Officials in Florida have said they are very hopeful that they won't have to pause rescue efforts at the site of a collapsed building in Miami. Forecasters have since shifted the storm's likely path westward, suggesting that rather than hitting Florida directly, it will only skim the state's southwest coast. And finally, police in Nicaragua have arrested 2 student activists and 3 members of the farmers' movement in its latest crackdown on the opposition. Among those arrested on Monday night was Medardo Mariana, who was planning to run for the Nicaraguan presidency. His arrest brings a number of presidential hopefuls detained since the beginning of June to 6. President Daniel Ortega is expected to stand for a 4th consecutive term in the election in November. Police said in a statement that the activists detained on Monday were under investigation for allegedly threatening Nicaragua's sovereignty under a controversial new treason law introduced in December. Student group Nicaraguan University Alliance (AUN) said 2 of its leaders, Lester Aleman and Max Jerez, had been detained. That was all for tonight's regional news. Thank you for joining.